Shane Watson here from Boxing Live. I'm lucky enough to be joined by Eddie Hearn.
How you doing? Could have left you hanging there.
Yeah, you could have done.
No, I wouldn't do that to you.
Oh, thanks. Obviously, a big fight now on Saturday for Dave Allen, Lucas Brown. What kind of fight do you think we're going to expect?
I have no idea. I mean, I have to be honest. Like, it could be the greatest heavyweight fight we've seen, or it could be a barroom brawl and a bit messy and a bit ugly. But you know, Dave Allen has an opportunity to do something special, which is headline the O2. It's a great story. It's a feel-good story. Feel-good stories don't mean that you're necessarily going to just go and beat a good heavyweight. Dave Allen is favourite for this fight, weirdly, because people are just putting money on him. But what fight have you seen Dave Allen in, or what win gives him the right to be a favourite against Lucas Brown? None. Nick Webb. But he was losing every round. So he's got to do the things that he's learnt with Darren Barker. He's got to let his hands go. It's very difficult to come out on that kind of occasion and platform and put everything into play when you're just not a world beater, because he's not. So I don't know what we're going to get there. I think we're going to get an absolute war in Chisora against Senadagashi, and I think we'll get a war in Alan Brown as well. But, you know, for that one, we just don't know.
You see Lucas Brown, obviously he fought Kamil Sakowski last time out. Kamil Sakowski stopped Nick Webb. Does that show you that maybe he's
well, Sakowski is a very, very tough fighter now. I mean, I had Lucas Brown winning that fight, but he was just trying to survive because he knew he was fighting 4 weeks later. So it's a bad fight for them to take, but he wanted to get a little bit of rust out. And Lucas Brown's a good fighter. You know, he's mixed at a very high level, and he's won fights at levels well beyond Dave Allen. So I think he's the favourite in the fight. He looks in much better shape than he did when he boxed Dillian Whyte, but Dillian Whyte iced him. So you wonder how much he's got left. They're both big punchers. Anything could happen, and may the best man win.
A little bit on Chisora and Gashi as well.
It's a tough fight. That's going to be a war. And it's a big banana skin for Derek Chisora because Gashi's bang up for it. And I don't really know what's going to happen. I hope we get a motivated Derek Chisora. If we do, I think Chisora wins by stoppage. But I think that is a guaranteed war, that fight.
You see Chisora, his pre-fight antic makes him look like maybe he isn't as up for it as he
he does. Fights. Yeah, he's very chilled. He's very experienced. He probably don't want to be burning energy, you know. But he's in good shape, a little bit heavy. But I know Dave Coldwell will get him in good shape. I know they'll have a game plan, and if he listens, I think he'll stop Senadagashi late.
And obviously moving on to the rumours going with Joshua's next opponent. I was speaking to David yesterday, and obviously you said before that Chisora wants Joshua next if he comes through clean against Gashi. What's your thoughts on that fight potentially?
I don't think it's the one for MSG, to be honest with you. I'd rather either an American or someone who has, you know, is known in America. It's a good fight, but I think tomorrow night's going to tell us everything we need to know about Derek, what he's got left in the tank. Do you know what I mean? But for me, and I know David Hay will push it very hard, I don't think Chisora is the guy for June 1. But let's see what happens tomorrow night.
You see, for looking at June 1, what are the potential candidates? Because I know that quite a few people have ruled himself out. I think Adam Kalnaka ruled himself out because 6 weeks or 7 weeks weren't enough for him. Who are the potential ones that are quite likely?
Well, Ortiz ruled himself out, but there has been a couple of conversations since. I mean, you've got Ortiz, you've got Michael Hunter, you've got Andy Ruiz put his name forward, you've got Joseph Parker put his name forward, you've got Ajit Kiyabel put his name forward, you've got Otto Warlin put his name forward, you've got Trevor Brown put his name forward, you've got Robert Helenius put his name forward, you've got Manuel Char put his name forward. So, but half of those are out. You know, in my mind, they're not the guys. So, you know, the guys that we have to look at, and this weekend is all about putting deals in place to say, okay, are you real or are you not real? So we find that out. Joshua will make a decision at the end of the weekend, and then we'll announce middle of next week who the new opponent is.
I know Joe Joyce called out Joshua on Twitter, and I know they had previous sparring accusations and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're good friends. I mean, I think it's a decent fight one day. I don't feel that Joe is really at the level yet to fight for a world heavyweight title. I respect and appreciate him, you know, trying to get these fights, but I don't think that the Zone or the Garden would be over the moon with someone like Joe Joyce at the moment, to be honest. Even though it's, you know, he's a good fighter. So we need someone, I think, a little bit more credible and with a bit more name value, to be honest.
And do you think someone like Michael Hunter and that bring that, even though they haven't really had many big fights?
Hunter, yeah. I mean, Hunter's an American Olympian. He's coming off 2 big heavyweight wins. He's a good fighter. Obviously, like, as I said, American. I'm not sure whether Hunter's the guy. You know, I'm just telling you the guys that are in the mix. Certainly, if you went to MSG or DAZN and said, who would you prefer, Hunter or Joe Joyce? It's pretty obvious who they're going to choose is Michael Hunter. But, you know, Joe's a good fighter. Joe will get his I mean, there's a lot of guys. Hrgovic, you know, he's another guy that's going to be up there fighting. I think Hrgovic against Joe Joyce is a really good fight as well. So, there's loads in the mix, but the aim over the next sort of 48 hours is to say, right, who really wants it? How much do you really want? Put the deals in place and then present them to Josh and Rob McCracken and say, over to you.
And with Jeremy and a failing drug test, is he still going to be someone you'll be working with in the future, or is that completely wiped out?
I don't know. I mean, it's not good. You know, he feels though he's had to take something to get an edge over Anthony Joshua, and it doesn't sit well with me. That.
Obviously, he's not just you don't just work with him. He's also a friend of yours as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I like the guy. I like the guy's company, but he's let everybody down, and he's done something that, ultimately is wrong. Morally wrong, ethically wrong, and it worries me that people feel like they can't beat AJ without cheating.
Yeah.
And I understand, I know that they must look at AJ and think, but you can't be doing that. I mean, it's terrible for yourself, terrible for the sport, and it really makes you a cheat and a liar. If you've intentionally done it, and obviously it don't look good.
Do you think it was a press conference in New York that made Jerome realise that?
I don't know. You don't know the history. I mean, he's failed tests before. This is the first. You can't, with the testing process we undergo, you can't be cheating.
Yeah.
And it's impossible because they're turning up 2-3 times a week in the middle of the night. It's just so and he's got caught. So I'm glad in a way that he has been caught, because that's the reason we do it. But you can't get away with it. So it's like, don't be stupid enough to even try.
Yeah.
Well, they think they came one week, they won't come for a couple of weeks. It doesn't work like that. They could come the next day. In fact, AJ, I think he had 4 tests last week with UCAD and VADA. Yeah. And what they do is they'll test you on the Tuesday, and they'll come back Wednesday morning, because they'll think, maybe you think you can try something on Wednesday. So it's not worth it. You can't cheat if you're under this kind of testing. And I wish everybody was under this kind of testing, because you'd unearth a whole load of problems.
Khan Crawford, I wanted to get a little bit on that as well. Obviously, it's a big fight night on Saturday night, and everyone in Britain's behind Amir Khan. What's your thoughts on that fight? I know you've already spoken about potentially Kell Brook fighting Crawford and stuff like that. Is that
Top Rank came on, and they've approached for that fight. So I've got to also look at Kell Brook on his future. It's a good fight. Crawford's a great fighter. So is Amir. He's a massive underdog in the fight. If he can stay disciplined and listen to Virgil, he's got the skills and speed to mix with these guys. Crawford is becoming a more spiteful puncher, and he just mustn't engage and get sloppy, and he must keep his shape and stay disciplined.
So Amir Khan, is this his last fight with you then? Or is it?
Yeah, but we hope to work together in the future. I hope he wins.
Yeah.
There's a rematch clause for Terence Crawford, but I still hope he wins the fight.
Also, Dillian Whyte, it's been strongly rumoured that he's going to be fighting Oscar Rivas in July.
It's a name that's on the list. We're working towards his next opponent, and there'll be an announcement probably next week about, I think Rivas is a good fight. Obviously has a big win coming off against Bryant Jennings. He's dangerous, he's explosive, he's undefeated, he's a good amateur as well. So he would be someone I'd be happy with if that was a deal we could close.
Also, I know there was rumours that Tom Little fighting Zhilei Zhang.
He was going to on this card, but Zhang got injured.
So is that been remade?
Yeah, not yet, but possibly.
Okay. Well, thanks Tom.
All right, mate.
Great to have you on.
Cheers.